This is the homework for Module 1, Topic 3, Lesson 1. We are going to be doing M1-178. So starting at the very top, number 2, we have C and D here. So it's just saying determine the unknown angle. So we know that the interior angle of any triangle adds up to 180. So obviously if we know 2 of them, we just need to find out what's missing from that from 180. So we just need to add that 28 and 35, which is 63, and if we subtract that from 180, that'll give us the leftovers. So this angle right here should be 117. Same thing on D. We're just going to find out what these add up to and then subtract that from 180 because these all 3 should add up to 180. So 90 plus 32 is 122, and we'll take that away from 180 because whatever that is our missing angle. And so it's 58. Now it's good also to always double check if it makes sense. So like here this was an obtuse angle where it's over 90 degrees, so that makes sense, and here it's less than 90 degrees, so 58 makes sense. But also recognize that they don't always draw them exactly to scale. So if you use a protractor and actually measure this, this may not be actually 58 degrees, so just recognize that. Alright, number 3, list the side lengths from shortest to longest for each diagram. This is just using the angles to know that it kind of like tells you the proportion. So obviously we know that K is longer than L, just knowing that, well, one, you can just look at it, but also the fact that like what angles are opposite of it. So let's find this missing angle to know where M stands in there. So I need to add up these 2 and then subtract that from 180. Okay, so 146, subtract that. And that's 34. So that tells me that the shortest one is the opposite of the smallest angle. So that's going to be L, and then it's M, and then it's K. We'll do that same thing over here. We just have a lot more angles to work with. So we have a couple missing angles. We have this one here, and we have this one here. So for this one, we're looking at this triangle right here, kind of ignoring this over here. So we need to add up 64 and 79. Subtract that from 180. So this is 37. So as far as D, E, and C goes, we could just easily compare those, but we also want to include these ones over here as well. Now we don't actually need to find out what this angle is. We could if we want to, but you also want to recognize that anything over here, because C is the long side for this, is going to be smaller than that. So we can actually just ignore that. So if we start with the big triangle, obviously the side lengths of the big triangle are going to be bigger than the side lengths of the small triangle. So we're going to start, I don't like that they do shortest to longest. I would rather do longest to shortest, but we can always write them longest to shortest and then just say it's reversed. So starting with the big triangle, the biggest angle is that 79, so it goes from E and then 64, which is D, and then opposite of the smaller angle, which is C, and then since that's the long side of this one, next up would be the 67 angle and then the 27 angle. So that's A and then B, and so we can just say longest to shortest. Alright, number 4, determine the value of x in each diagram. So all of these, we're just solving for an unknown with the added caveat that we're using that internal angles as well. So looking at A first, we have this triangle right here. Now, this angle is also going to be 81. A way you can prove that is the fact that like this straight line is going to have to be the rest of that 180 because it's a straight line, and then same thing, this and this angle are also a straight line. So that's how you get those opposite angles are the same. So that angle right there is also 81, and then we know that 81 plus x plus 2x is 180. So then this is just solving for an unknown like you did in 7th grade. So I want to get rid of the fact that there's an 81 over here, and I can just take that away from both sides. It's like a scale. If I remove the same amount of weight from both sides, they'll stay equal. And then we can also combine these x's. So really I have 3x and I have 99. Okay? So 3 times something gives me 99. So instead of multiplying by 3, I'll actually divide to undo that. And so that's going to be 33. So x is equal to 33 in this case. Okay. Doing the same thing for b. If this is 90, then this in here is 90. So this angle is going to be whatever's left over that 180. But we've also learned that those opposite interior angles are equal to this. So actually 64 plus 90 is equal to that x plus 8. So we'll add these together. That's going to be 154. And then I want to remove 8 from both sides to keep it equal. And let's see, that would be 146. Again, you want to double check that that makes sense. So this is an obtuse angle, so 146 plus 8 to equal this angle does make sense. Then we have C. So we'll want to use the fact that we know what this angle is because we can take away from this. We know what this angle is because we can take it away from that. So 180 minus 112. So this is 68, and then we do that 180 minus 132. So this is 48. So now that we know these two, we just know that those two plus this adds up to 180. So actually what we could do, instead of writing out that entire equation, we could first subtract these from 180 to know what this is going to equal. So 48 plus 68 is 116. Subtract that from 180. And I know that I'm doing this longhand, but you of course can use calculators. In fact, you probably should. So we know that 2x plus 4 has to equal 64, so that's the equation we'll do. Get rid of that 4 from both sides of the equation to keep it equal. So 2x is going to equal 60, so 2 times something gives you 60, and most you can probably figure that that's going to be 30. So x is 30. Okay, last one. We know that these two here equal 90 because that exterior angle equals the opposite two interior angles. So 90 is going to be equal to that 3x plus 2 and the 2x plus 18. Now you'll notice I wrote them without the parentheses because they weren't really needed. If you have something multiplying by everything in the parentheses, then you'll want to keep it, but removing them is not going to change anything. So now over here I can combine like terms. So I still have 90. And then if I look over here, I have a total of 5 x's, and I have a total of 20 non-x numbers. Then I want to get rid of 20 from both sides of the equal sign to keep things equal. So now I'm at 70 equals 5x. So something times 5 is 70. So to undo that, we'll divide by 5. And that is 14, I believe. Yeah. So that's telling us, and then remember to always double check like your work. So that's just telling us that this angle is equal to 14 times 3 plus 2. This angle is equal to 2 times 14 plus 18.